Hello. Hi, my name is Diana, and if you don't know me, I am a solo artist, and I use the creative arts to talk about mental health. My background is in performance, usually on the stage with improv and comedy, and I'm the writer and performer of a solo show called Shattered that uses comedy and character work to talk about trauma recovery. So my background then is also in managing depression, anxiety, and difficult experiences too. And I know that we all have a lot that we've all been through and are going through probably during this time period. So I wanted to bring you just a quick exercise. It's a visual arts exercise that I learned in one of my classes. I learned this at a class on managing depression and anxiety at the Actors Fund, which is a fantastic organization if you don't know them. They provide really amazing services to people in the entertainment industry, and it can be people in front of the camera, behind the camera, on stage, backstage. There are so many people that go into making productions happen. So the Actors Fund is a really great organization that supports all of us. So this art exercise is a visual arts exercise, and what you're gonna need is you're gonna need a piece of paper, and you're gonna need some coloring utensils. I use crayons, but you can use whatever you want. You can use a pen, you can use crayons like me, or you can use markers, you can use paints, whatever works for you. So this piece of paper is crinkled, so I probably am going to put it to the side. So if you don't want to use the paper on top, don't do it. I find that so much with managing mental health and storytelling, and so much of what I do is if I don't want to do something or I don't want to talk about something, then that's okay. I'll put it to the side and maybe use it later. And we are going to be using this piece of paper and these coloring utensils to take inventory of what we're thinking and feeling here in this moment, sitting with me, and we're going to draw it as if it's weather. So is it sunny in your inner world, or is it cloudy? Maybe it's cloudy, but there's really strong winds. Maybe those winds are gentle. Thanks so much for joining me. Thank you. Weather can hold so many different things all at once. Yesterday I looked up at the sky and there were these really beautiful, wispy, soft clouds. And then in another patch of sky, the clouds were really fluffy and they looked like they looked like cotton candy. They looked like a big pillow. Then also in another patch of the sky, there were really big gray thick clouds. And then 10 minutes later, those clouds were gone. So, weather can hold very different elements in it that look, even if they are the same element, they can also look different. And I have found that that's the same with experiences and feelings. It's possible to be really, really mad, and then something happens and it makes you laugh, and you're nostalgic and laughing and having joy. There are so many things that we feel as humans, and we're quite complex. So that's why we use weather in the drawing exercise. However, if weather doesn't work for you, then don't do it. I found that I've been doing this since March 18th, and I have found that when I started, I did do weather. I did do suns and clouds, and I had multiple suns in my pictures, and now I'm mostly drawing shapes. So that's what is coming out, and I love it. I really enjoy doing this. So thank you all for joining me. Okay, so the exercise. Sometimes I talk a lot, sorry. I get really excited about mental health. And that said, I'm not perfect. I myself have daily, I daily have a lot of tools that I use to calm me down if I have strong emotions, or sometimes things happen and I will have a reaction that I know is logically too big for that small event. And I have things I've learned along the way where I can unpack that and say, oh, why did I have such a big reaction? And so often a lot of it taps into fears, and a lot of it taps into old patterns of behavior. So, I'm not perfect. I'm still managing myself. So, meet yourself where you're at. And it's, we're humans, and humans have like I said, a lot of complex thinking, a lot of complex thoughts and feelings. So I just use them as information. Okay, the exercise. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So you take your piece of paper, and we're going to take our coloring utensils. And we're going to check in with ourselves in a couple different ways. And again, do whatever works for you. You can check in with yourself cerebrally. You might know that you're feeling whatever. You might know that you're feeling whatever that word is. That word might be a sound. You might be feeling blah or ma or ha. Any of those. The reason why I try to put sound or words or shapes or colors to my feelings is then it gives them a place to go. Sometimes feelings are rattling around in there and they feel very overwhelming and I don't know what they are, or sometimes I do know what they are and I don't know how to get them away. And I have found that if I label them in some way, whether that is through shapes or sounds or the actual word, then my mind is able to categorize that feeling and it is able to give it a place to go. So that helps me to process it and move through it. That said, sometimes there are a lot of big things that happen, and that's not it doesn't take it away, these big moments of our lives, but it helps us to process them and make sense and just kind of move through. Okay, so you can check in with yourself through your mind, cerebrally. You can check in with yourself through the body. If the body is something that you like to do for grounding exercises, you can do that. Some people don't like going into the body, so if that doesn't work for you, don't do it. The way that you do a body scan is you just start at the top of your head, and you just move your awareness all the way down, and just notice bits of yourself through the arms and through the chest and down into the seat, and check in with your knees and then down to the toes. And as you go along, just notice any bits that are grabbing your awareness, or any bits that are having some tension, any bits that are maybe percolating with a little bit of energy, and that energy can be trepidation. That energy can also be serendipitous. That energy can be so many different things. So just notice it throughout. And sometimes I'll start drawing from that place too. Or you can just check in with your color palette. I often will check in with my color palette, and I'll, similar to the body scan, I'll see what color grabs my awareness, and then I will pick it up and just allow my intuition to lead me. So that's another way you can do this too. Okay, so let's draw. We're going to take our piece of paper, and we're going to take our coloring utensils, and we're going to draw our thoughts and emotions in this current moment as if it's weather. So is it sunny? Is it windy? Is it rainy? Is it sunny, windy, and rainy? Let's draw. I want to add one more thing. Okay. Yeah, I might do. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit longer than usual. Okay, so I took a little bit longer than I normally do, but if you want to take a little bit more time, or you can take a little bit more time, please do. This is something you can also do with your kids, so you can draw side by side with them. And if you're probably going through a lot, if you're having to do work and the kids as well, it's probably a moment where you can come together and also, take care of yourself while you're also drawing alongside with them. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. Yes, you can do this with your kids. You can do this with loved ones to create some dialogue in a very neutral way. I talked to a person the other day, and they said that they did this via phone with some loved ones, and they actually had legitimate separate weather in their locations, and they it was figurative and also it was figurative and also reality. What's that word? I don't know. Anyway, okay, moving on. So you can do this with loved ones too. So when I sat down, I did not know what I was going to draw. I was a little bit like, this morning, and I was just, I think we're all in a new normal that is, it can stir up a lot, and it can be frustrating for me. The time is frustrating, and the lack of answers can be frustrating. So I was feeling a little bit of that. However, when I sat down with all of you, it's fun to do this. So I started, usually I start with the palette. I usually would check in with my palette, but instead I started with the body scan, and I was really surprised by what I found in the body scan. I found bits of myself. The tips of my lips were kind of like percolating, and I wasn't sure if it was I try to stay away from good and bad, but I wasn't quite sure what that feeling was, because it felt it felt curious to me, but it also felt a little bit uncomfortable too. And so I wasn't quite sure. And then I also had a little bit of energy in the balls of my feet too. So I drew from there. And what I started with was just the lips. And I came out with a very whimsical picture, which was like really comforting for me. And it was, I really enjoyed that. So I started with the lips, and I drew just lips as if they're almost butterflies or clouds. But I think butterflies have a more parallel connotation to the lips. And then I drew rays of sun out from the lips, which was surprising to me, because I'm a person that is, I sometimes will have problems speaking. I'll have problems often speaking my mind. And also that's why art for me is always very, it's a really great vehicle for me. And as I've gone along in my trauma recovery, one impact of PTSD is that I will sometimes have actual muscular problems speaking, and I'll have problems arranging my thoughts too, and that is just an impact of anxiety and trauma, unfortunately. So that for me, as I'm talking to you, I'm getting like kind of verklempt, because I didn't realize that that's a piece of my history that is really important for me to bring truth to. So to have such light and airy lips coming with sun, that was really rewarding for me, and that for me is a very hopeful shape, I guess, and it speaks to me of encouragement. So this is for me it's a very happy piece of the picture. And then I wanted to draw trees. I didn't know why, so I did it. I drew the trees. I'm here in Los Angeles, so these are palm trees. I love looking at the palm trees in LA against the sky. Where I'm at, where there aren't that many of them, so I enjoyed drawing these, and it really brought me back to nature and the things I love about California. And then and it was interesting to me, I drew it in threes, and these are all threes. And my comedy, I'm in the comedy world, and comedy comes in threes. So that, for me, is kind of what that represents. And I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to draw three. So there you go. And then I started to draw wisps of clouds, but I didn't set out to draw the clouds. What I ended up setting out to draw was I first just picked up my periwinkle, because periwinkle is the color that I gravitate towards, and I really love this color when I use it. And I started to do just these loop-de-loops that I've been drawing over the past few weeks, but they weren't coming out. So what they ended up coming out is just these deconstructed clouds. So it's almost like a soft wind, but it doesn't have a certain direction. It's just allowing it to be around and wisp as it need. So, but as I was going to end this picture, it wasn't quite complete for me. So I took this green, if you can see it, it's like a sea aquamarine, and I reinforced the palm trees, and I really, that felt very satisfactory. And then I did, oh no, this isn't aquamarine, this is a different green, but I reinforced the palm trees with green, and then the aquamarine I reinforced with the deconstructed, almost clouds, the deconstructed movement. So for me, it's a very whimsical picture, and it brings me joy to look at it. And I'm finding that no matter what I've gone through, or no matter where I am with my mental health, sometimes I can find bits of joy. And maybe it's my favorite object, or maybe it's my favorite picture, or maybe it's something along those lines that can break the feelings of emotions that sometimes you don't know how to get out of. So it can be a phone call to a friend. It can be so many different things that can remind us of the joys that we do have in life, and sometimes those joys don't cost anything. So I hope that art serves you. I hope that this visual arts exercise gave you something that you enjoyed drawing. I'm doing this tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, so please join me and let's create some art together. And I wish you good weather, wherever you are. So, okay, talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye. Yes, thank you. Oh, thanks, Marie. I want to visit my picture too. Okay, bye-bye.